What's up, everybody? It is the live post-match fan reactions show. I'm AJ. Michael, unfortunately, is without power. He's been without power for a couple days now, so definitely send your best wishes to him and his family. But yeah, let me know if you guys are in the chat and if you can hear me. Definitely throw some ones in there. But yes, let's get into this. I mean, essentially, it was a must-win. It was 3 points that were absolutely needed. And, I mean, listen, this is not a good enough scoreline. We needed the 3 points. Philadelphia have been playing better, won 5 of the last 7. But Atlanta United, this was a 6-pointer. Job was not done, unfortunately. And yeah, Mike is a little loud. Okay, yep. I will lower it just a little bit. Let me know how that is. How's that? A little better. Keep me posted. But yeah, I mean, so Atlanta United drawing 1-1. I mean, going down early on a goal that really is not something that we should let in. A shot from outside of the box, on the edge of the box, and both center backs diving to try to block it. Braguzan can't get down fast enough on those. We know this. This is that thing. Inside the box, he does great. He had a number of really great saves tonight. Going down to his right, kick save, parrying it. I mean, yeah, he looks, kind of rejuvenated this season, of course. Arguably, probably our best player this season. But, yeah, the goal is just something that we could do better on. Can't allow that type of chance to begin with. Wagner's the left back for Philly, being able to pretty much thread that ball through our defense, and then them being able to get the go-ahead goal. It's just, yeah, you would expect there to be more urgency from this team when they say the right things, like these are finals, we need to play like there's no tomorrow, and yeah, it doesn't really seem like that fully, but yeah, ultimately we were able to get back into the match. A little bit of a kind of loose ball that Moranchuk was able to get on the end of where he was able to find Rios. Rios lays it off to Lennon, who digs out across, standing it up to the back post. Saba, he attacks it in the 6-yard box and is able to head it in from 0 range. But you do like to see it where he is active inside that box. And I believe the 7th goal for him this season. I believe it's the 8th assist for Lennon. And so, it's these aren't great numbers by any means for players on our squad. I mean, 8 assists for a right back is pretty good, but then you have the context, obviously, of the type of defense, unfortunately, that we're seeing. But yeah, so it's just that type of match that, yeah, we need more. And unfortunately, we are not able to muster the goods. We don't have the facilities. And big man, it's just not good enough. Atlanta United still in 11th, Philly in 9th, and we have a big test on Wednesday at home against Jose Martinez and CF Montreal, who are in 10th place. So very much so, it is, yeah, like we have it all to do, and it's another 6-pointer on Wednesday. But Drew, yeah, hop in here. Let's get this baby going here. Get your reactions. But yeah, I mean, as far as any sort of like standout performances. It seems like, besides Brad Guzan, yeah, the attack. Okay, yeah, we were able to, have some more urgency in the latter half of the first half, but yeah, zero shots on goal. Pretty much one shot in the first half. Not good enough. Uh, and ultimately, yeah, we end up with I think 8 shots to their 22. Even though yeah, our XG is pretty good in this match considering all that. But yeah, so ours were just more clear cut. But here we go. Nope. Hold on. Let's make this look better. Boom. Hey. Okay. But Drew, welcome in, man. And yeah, it's not the most fantastic result, but what'd you think of the match?
I don't know how to feel about this team right now. It's we're fighting for points, and we're picking up points on the road here, but our performances aren't good enough, and especially with this fight for a playoff spot late in the season, it's not good enough right now. I do like that we still have some fight, and we're looking better than we have for stretches of this year, but for what we expect of this team, it's not good enough.
Indeed, dude. Yeah, I mean it's that first half snooze fest. I mean, yes, a lot better play with quicker play. Kind of in the latter parts of it, but I mean, what did you see maybe from a halftime talk perspective? Maybe from Rob Valentino, like, did you feel like there was change, and that's why there was the impetus to essentially kind of win that second half?
Yes, it felt like it kind of started at the end of the first half there. They started to get their feet under them, and they started to take the game a lot more to Philly. It felt like they were starting to control a lot more. We were starting to actually get some chances. You had the Rios opportunity that he just put wide there. And then you come out in the second half, you started to press a little bit more, and it felt like we were on the front foot a lot more until they Philly got into the game a little bit, and they got that goal off the mistake there. And it just felt like we'd lost all the momentum at the point, and we were able to grab that goal, but other than that, it felt like we kind of didn't have any really good chances after our goal there. It felt like Philly kind of fully took over the game, and they started getting chances, especially very late on. They could have made it 2-1 very easily. Guzan did a brilliant job keeping the game tied 1-1. But it's not good enough at this point right now.
Business end of the season, and we need better performances. I mean, yes, Moranchuk is still new in the squad. Tyler Wolf came in, starting, and likely starting because defensively he's probably a lot stronger than Edwin Mosquera, who did have a very good goal against New York Red Bulls, but didn't get the start. Obviously, some people maybe would be like, "Hey, okay, he deserved that start," but his energy off the bench, I mean, usually better, but not really much to write home about. What did you think of that left side tonight, and the move to bring in Wolf and his contributions?
He did not, especially early on, he did not seem like he was up for this game. He was very slow to react to any ball, even defensively, which is what was probably brought in for. It felt like he was always a half step to a step behind every play. later into the second or into the first half, he started to get a little bit better. You started to see him kind of making plays. He had a couple good 1-2s that he made smart decisions on that led to chances, which was good to see. But overall, I don't think it was quite the right move for Tyler Wolf to be in that spot. We needed somebody with a little bit more impact there, a little bit more going forward. I think Mosquera would have been the right choice there, or somebody like Brennan. We still don't know what we have in a player like that, and it would be good to see at least what he can bring. So I would like to see somebody like Brennan or Mosquera in that
Yeah,
situation.
it definitely seemed like Wolf, who hasn't started in some time. I think since May, apparently. Uh, you know, that's definitely someone that's not fresh. Who, or maybe not fresh, but he is fresh. He is not match fit, and the issue is that yeah, you have players that are a little bit more in form, and then yeah, maybe they aren't given the opportunity. But then it's also Luke Brennan. I can see maybe why he wasn't chosen here in that, he's still essentially a rookie in the sense of like, yeah, he's not tried and true and tested, especially against a very veteran side in Philly. But and as well, obviously Valentino's trying to go for the playoff spot and trusting a kid. I mean, if we were just down to the dredges, maybe it would make more sense. So maybe I can forgive that, but it is still, it's like, yeah, combating the Philly diamond shape in midfield. I think that's probably the root of the troubles. Probably in the first half is, our midfield's just not strong enough to be outnumbered and play through a very, very strong system, as well as players that, yeah, just in Philly, they know what they're doing. They know where to be. They know how to press, and they were collapsing into us very quickly to, yeah, just really crowd us out. But what did you see as like maybe a culprit in terms of why we started off so slow?
Philly's counter pressing is phenomenal, and it they kind of breed that system into any player
Mm-hmm.
that they have or any player that they pick up. They they are one of the teams that consistently plays their style and they do not divert from that. And they do a great job of it, and it always is a type of game that if you aren't prepared for it or you don't have a strong enough midfield, it can do a lot of damage. And that early on, that's what it was doing. We would try to break out and it would immediately be taken away, or we'd have a solo player just trying to hold up the ball and couldn't get anywhere with it. So, and they were doing a good job of then countering against that and starting to get pressure on our back line pretty quickly. We started to get through that press a lot more about the 30 minute mark. We started to be able to actually play through the press. And that's when we started to see a lot more of the chances later into that first half, which good to see. We were able to figure out what to do, and it gave us some life. But Philly's press is always something that's going to be tough for any
Mm-hmm.
team.
Indeed. Yeah, I think yeah, you're absolutely right. It's around the 30th mark that 30th minute mark that we start to play. I think a little bit more wide, but also with 1-2 touches to really just take advantage of the space that is obviously present in the wider spaces when they're a lot more narrow. And yeah, they basically don't have players that can get out to the wings quickly enough. But ultimately, it still is in the final third. We're just so anemic, and it's one of these things. Yeah, it's like Rios did have to or did start, and Tiare not available in this match, where I feel like maybe pace, especially kind of more on the wings, would have been very effective here. Instead, we kind of had to hold up the ball, and then they're able to get organized and not able to break them down, Atlanta United. But I mean, you have a lot of people on social media and all this that have already written the season off. There's 3 very crucial games coming up. What's your temperature right now on Atlanta United? Like, how bullish are you that there's a possibility that we can get into the playoffs? Because they're still relying on a lot of teams ahead of us, but Philly have a really terrible run-in where they're having to play the Crew, Cincy. That's as hard as it gets for sure. Ours a little bit easier, but also a couple teams that are in scintillating form. Joseph just scored a brace for CF Montreal as well. But how are you feeling about our run-in?
I'm in the mindset of I am doubtful we will make the playoffs, but I still think there is hope in this team, and I would like to use these games to try things. I know that we want to push for that playoffs spot, but at this point, what we've seen, what we keep trying to do isn't working. So at this point, throw whatever you can and see if it works. If it doesn't, then there's not too much harm in that sort of situation at this point. Try things. Try Brennan out wide. Maybe try Saba up top as a striker or a false 9 and have him play alongside Marinchuk and kind of them swap back and forth in that position. Something that brings a different look to this team that may throw off opponents. That is what I want to see in these last couple games. Just trying something, because this team has some talented players, but the group collectively is not good enough to bring out those talents. So whatever we can try to bring out those talents is something I'm looking for in these last 3 games. And if we can convert on our chances and get some points and get some wins out of these situations and get lucky, then we take that into the playoffs and try, and we just keep going. And being a surprising and a tricky team is something that can trip up playoff opponents. It's something to fear as somebody in a playoff spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's great points. It's like everyone's auditioning for their spot next season essentially, and I mean, it really is where this this squad, these players are not they're not set in stone. They're maybe some of them are a little comfortable, and it ultimately is there's gonna be a lot of changes. Let's get into the chat a little bit, and before we do, everyone who's watching, make sure to not be a freeloader and hit the like button. Share if you can as well. But be kind to us, because it's not our fault that Atlanta United cannot get the points that are needed. But Mo Bamba, he says, man, we need changes in the team. Bad, absolutely. It is, that's just really what it is a lot of people are kind of already, clamoring for the off season a little bit. Connor Watson says, howdy. He also says, Wednesday has to be full win. If we don't get that result, then try whatever. I think, that's also a good point is, like Drew, your idea of the false 9, I love that. I don't know if they have enough time to train that. So it's really kind of relying on them to kind of just like use their talents and just kind of play chaos ball. But I would love to see Saba and Miranchuk kind of play a two up top, because yeah, it's Rios is just like Rios has his usefulness, but in this type of match tonight, largely ineffective, because yeah, it was like so many moments that we could hit them on the break, and kind of hitting it into Rios was where the attack just went to die. And
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it's just like, so if TRA is still suffering from a concussion on Wednesday, man, I might be with you. Roll the die. We're at home,
Just try it. Why not? We're trying to get points, trying to bring some life into the fan base, bring some life into this
Yeah.
team.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? What do we
Right.
got to lose?
And we do have a good number of wingers, so it's, yeah, we could play with a little bit more of that. And then also, yeah, we did a little bit more of a 4-4-2 tonight after Rios came off, and I initially thought that, yeah, maybe Miranchuk and Saba were going to go to the wings. Instead, we kind of go more towards a 4-4-2, where Fortune
Yeah.
goes to the left, and we see his versatility. I mean, he was able to kind of get up, and but like obviously, we only have 4 midfielders, so maybe especially if we play with 3 midfielders, sometimes we only have 1 sub there. I don't know if that's something that we should do, in large spurts, especially with Saturday. Very quickly we have another match, but yeah, I mean, would you pull with with a 4-4-2 with wingers, or just 2 midfielders for Wednesday? What would you do?
In my head, if we're going with throwing Saba up top, what I'm thinking is playing basically our standard 4-2-3-1. But you play Saba up top and Miranchuk in that 10, and you can have your wingers be Mosquera, because Mosquera brings a lot of pace, and you got somebody like Saba running at a back line or running in behind a back line. That opens a lot of space for somebody that's got that kind of pace like Mosquera does. And somebody like Wolf, this would actually benefit, because Wolf likes playing off and kind of getting that knockdown ball and kind of creating off of that. And it gives him a role in the lineup, because the one thing he does is he kind of needs people to create for him, and we don't really have that sort of strength. That's why Wolf was great in spurts last season, is he had somebody that was creating for him, and he was able to take advantage of those and be a little bit more of a poacher in
Right.
that situation.
Yeah, I think that's what he is. He's a little bit more of a second striker, a player that maybe it is where Tyler Wolf plays up top with maybe a Daniel Rios instead, and maybe it's more a little bit of that. But either way, it's Wednesday must win. Yeah, what's your feeling going in being able to take down Jose Martinez and CF Montreal?
I had higher hopes before this game that we would pull out a win. Right now, I have a strong suspicion we will end with another draw. We have the fight to stay with teams, but I don't feel like we have enough talent or enough luck to be able to get that second goal or that go-ahead goal.
And that's interesting that you're saying luck, because it's some would say you make your own luck, but it is one of those things too. It's if you don't get yourself into the positions to be able to possibly score, well then I think we are, though, and I think that is the difficulty, is that we're not giving up a terrible amount of goals. Our defense isn't just outright bad, but for whatever it is, we don't have enough creativity in the final third. We don't have enough clinical prowess to really do the job, and that's probably ultimately it. But yeah, final thoughts on this match.
I guess good result to get a draw on the road, not a win though, so it doesn't help us that much.
Yeah.
We're still looking like we are starting to improve, which is a good sign. We're at least staying with teams. We've had the past 3 games. We're staying with teams. We're not shrinking away. We're not giving up points and giving up goals late in games. It's just we gotta see if we can put the full product together here going forward.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's Atlutd unfortunately just haven't done it most of the season. There have been spurts where it looks very promising, and hopefully, it seems like we play up to competition. Hopefully, we can and maybe can break through to some degree, even just slightly if they're just slightly above us. But we'll see. But Drew, thank you so much as always. Have a great rest of your night. Always a pleasure, man.
Night.
See you. Alrighty. So, yes, Nick, if you are watching, come on in here. But yes, let me also do some housekeeping. It's a little bit harder for me to do both. Yep. Okay. Great. Yeah. But yeah. Also, Connor, if you are wanting to get on, you are welcome to as well. Just shoot me a DM. But yes, here we go. Let me fix what's going on for your camera here, and then we can get you on here, Nick. I'm not usually pressing the buttons, so it's gonna take me a minute to get back into the groove. Here we go.
Technology.
Yes. Here we go. Boom. Okay. We got you in here. Nick, welcome in.
Hello.
Hey, let us know your thoughts, my friend.
Well, it took 3 beers for me to get through that match. I'll tell you
Just?
that. I was over at Sweetwater Brewery tonight watching the match. It was actually the official watch party, but there wasn't really a lot of people there. There were probably about 10 to 15 people there. And I was there with my good friend and cohort, Chris, from All Stripes. We were representing. The Jekyll and Hyde mentality of this team is just flooring. The first 35 minutes for me, roughly, it just looked like we were just confounded out there on that field. And when we finally conceded that goal, how in the world do we leave someone so freaking open at the top of the 18-yard box? I mean, it's so mind-blowing how that defense just behaves on the field.
It is this too. I mean, he's a defender, and so you're not expecting him to make that third man run and then hit a really good strike, but it still is, no one closes him down. And I mean, it absolutely is. It's on the forwards to play team defense, and they're sleeping. It pretty much is. It's not really on any of the defenders' faults here or Braguzan, but it still is. Yeah, it's his Achilles. No pun intended, but yeah, it is definitely what we know he's not great at: shots from distance. He's great at the reactionary save, which is interesting considering his age. But I mean, yeah. Would you consider? Would you consider this Brad Guzan's maybe best season with Atlanta United in the sense of like from a performance standpoint, not obviously the team performance?
I wouldn't go that far. He's had good seasons. I mean, he was a critical part of the 18th squad. I wouldn't say it's his best season. It's one of his better ones. I mean, he's been carrying this team on his shoulders, on and off the field. I mean, without him, we'd probably be fighting San Jose for the wooden spoon right now.
Yeah.
Be quite honest.
Yeah. It's that's a grim that's a grim comment, but not too far off from the truth probably. And yeah, if he was the keeper from last year, oh, I shudder because yes, it is very much where this season, yeah, we're a lot more stout defensively, but in attack, we just cannot get much done. Where by way of, the areas that we start to occupy, but then we just cannot figure out how to put a ball into the final third. Anything that just musters up, I think what anybody would say colloquially as a good attack. But yeah, I mean, for you, like, obviously I asked Drew this question. There's people that are feeling this way as well, where they are just ready for the season to end. But do you feel like, with our run-in, with our form, how bullish are you on the rest of the season on this run-in?
My expectations are very low at this point. With this style of play, and the drive seems to be there. I need to see more heart. I need to see more attack. I need to see more purpose. It's good to get a goal like the header Saba had from Brooks Lennon. That was a pretty goal. Let's not forget that. But we need more of that in the final third, and to get just one iota of it, and just it makes it seem like a flash in the pan in an entire 90+ minute match.
Right.
And we need more determination on both sides of the ball, because if these players were to play to their potential, we would conquer everybody in the league, and including Miami, in my opinion. But it just is not there. It is not there, and like everybody else has been saying, change has got to happen.
I mean, those are big words, including Miami, that includes Messi, obviously. That's so those are big words, but
we beat him in June. I mean,
yeah,
Lord.
I think if we were a better team at that point, I think they would probably take us a little bit more seriously. But I don't know. I mean, it is, I think, in any sense, yes, we are lacking in a lot of the determination department, because yes, it is that we're not throwing men forward in the moments that we should, and yeah, we basically in a way we are playing with a false nine in Daniel Rios, even though he's not a false nine. He basically doesn't get in the box enough to really try to be in those scoring positions, and it's taking Saba to be in the 6-yard box in order to make that happen. Daniel Rios, I mean, yes, he did kind of get the hockey assist for that goal, but I just see him admire the pass and not really crash the box. And that's something I hold umbrage with, because I think I see it too often where Rios isn't doing enough to really try to score as many goals as he can, like a striker should, like an attitude that they should have. But it is like, yes, he's got some decent attributes that are helping us move forward, and bring our attack closer to their box, but is just lacking inside the box, which is ultimately what we're needing, what we are absolutely clamoring for. But as far as obviously there's the rumors of Patrick Vieira, that he might be a finalist. Rob Valentino has been maybe bandied, at least maybe paper talk anyway, because they have to.
There's no way he's getting the job.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
That's my question.
No.
And I mean, Valentino, have you seen enough of anything to kind of give you some hope that he's even in the finalist conversation? Yeah, it could be no.
No, it's no. I mean, I'm just trying to think of how strongly I want to say no. Yeah, because a lot of people, when you bring up Rod Valentino, want to say, well, what about his first stint as head coach? No, that's an apples oranges comparison. You can't go with that. You got to judge his performance coaching these players. And even if you have roster turnover, he's a hell of an assistant coach. I will say that. And that's about all for me. I have. If he was going to get anything out of these players, he would have already gotten it out of these players.
Yeah.
And we have only 3 games left in the regular season. So, if we were going to see it, we were already going to have it.
Possibly.
And that's my answer.
Possibly. Has the well already been poisoned too much? With the scars of yesteryear. Should maybe the players that have gotten us to this point, in the sense that they're stalwarts, but they've literally never won anything with Atlanta United. Should those players be moved on as well? Maybe there's just too much scar tissue that no amount of plastic surgery can heal.
I would agree, because these players have been through a lot this season, ups and downs. And, well, do you count the Leagues Cup in that? Yes, you have to. Even though a lot of people didn't want to count that anyway. I mean, we could have a whole separate stream about the relevance of Leagues Cup, but mentally, it's hard to come back from an experience like this. And even if you should be so fortunate as to not be a victim of the roster turnover, the important thing is they've got to put it behind them. Get a new positive mentality in mind going forward. And maybe some of these players, if they move on, maybe they land on another side somewhere. Maybe they end up in USL. Maybe they end up in Next Pro. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's that. It's like, these players are human. So obviously, these locker rooms, there's going to be chatter. There's going to be like, oh, yeah, well, so Leagues Cup is coming up. And, yeah, I remember playing you guys last year. Maybe if it was somebody that, is new to the team. And, yeah, it's just, all this kind of conversation is going to bleed into how the team prepares and mentally where they're at for any of the games that mean something. And I think that's maybe ultimately where it is maybe these players and the coaching staff as well, they're not able to get themselves mentally also prepared enough to win these matches, which is so important. It's not just the physical aspect of this. Like, they get themselves up for the Inter Miami matches, the Columbus Crew matches, all those. But, this is this is a must-win in Philly. Yes, it's not exactly been the greatest of places for us to play, but this is definitely the worst Philly Union side in some time. And yet, yeah, it's just able to bring the goods in a very testing year. And I mean, it exemplifies probably where we're truly at as a club. But as far as, I guess, this, you know, like you on the run in, you know, and maybe your thoughts on it. Just you know, do you feel like these two home games we can achieve the 6 points that we need in our home form?
If we're going to beat anybody, it will be Montreal. I mean, who knows with Joseph scoring the brace tonight, how his mentality is going to be, because that's a factor. This is that. Mark my words, it's a factor. Joseph Martinez coming back to the Benz off a brace and a 3-0 win in Stade Saputo tonight. However, they are, let me pull that back up. They are 2-8-5 on the road. But then again, we're not much better at home.
Yeah.
You know?
And a motivated Joseph Martinez against us, where playoff indications and implications are on the line.
Yeah.
I am, yes, a little trepidatious about this match. That's for sure. Because a motivated Joseph Martinez is scary. And especially when he's scored recently. He scores in bunches. We know this. It is, not great.
And all you have to do is look at the table right now. Toronto, 8th, 37. Philadelphia, 9th, 37 points. Montreal, 10th, 37 points. We're sitting at 11th, 34. DC, 12th, 34. Nashville, 13th, 33 points. It is so vital that we get points.
It's
with 3 games to go.
And it's very much that. It's like we have to rely on a lot of people, a lot of other clubs, to not do what they need to do. And that's always a tough and tall ask. And, but, either way, you know, Atlanta United, I think we all see the effort is there. So baseline, okay. But what are your final thoughts?
This team has to dig deep for something they've never had, which is they have to put their heart and soul into this run. If they really want to make the playoffs, they've got to convince the fan base that they want to make the playoffs. And it would show in the performance on the field most of all. There's just a little sliver of hope inside of me that they can do it. That they can win at least 2 of these 3 games. I think at a minimum we need 2 wins and a draw in order to even have a chance of getting above the line. That would be 7 points, and then we need a whole lot of help after that. So the odds aren't good, but everyone loves a good underdog, you know, and we're playing like an underdog, kind of right now. You know, I've got to remain positive. You know, I'm not going to give up until it ain't over till it's over.
It's the hope that kills us, obviously, but you know, it's just what it is. I mean, you know, I think most Atlanta fans of any sport in Atlanta, it's kind of what that is. But you know, Atlanta United, they are the club that subverted it first. So as far as the sea of mediocrity that is Atlanta sports, you know, there was this kind of barreling of, you know, championships that were won by Georgia-based teams after we won. And, you know, yes, there was also, I think the Atlanta Dream did win something right before us. So, okay. Not this season. Yeah, not this season, but
not this season.
I think in 2017, I think if I'm completely wrong, I might be, but I feel like there was a team that was able to kind of get that barrel rolling. So, if there is a team that can do it, Atlanta United should have some of that magic. Maybe, who knows? But either way, Nick, thanks so much as always, and always a pleasure, man. Have a good.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Have a good rest of your night. See ya.
Bye.
Okay. So let us know your thoughts in the comments below, in the chat. But it might be a quick one, since obviously it's not the best result. It's an away match that obviously is, as far as the first 30 minutes, not great for entertainment. But it definitely got more interesting in the second half, that's for sure. But yeah, Connor, if you are lurking around here and want to come on, feel free to. But if not, we will end the stream in a few. But yeah, if you guys have any takes that you have, definitely drop them in the chat right now. But I think right now it's Atlanta United, it's do or die, and whether Patrick Vieira next year can be a solution or be someone that can help kind of solve those issues that we ultimately have a plethora of. It's gonna be a thing. But all right, I see you in here, Connor.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go.
There we are on. Lord, I'm a mess. I got out of the shower earlier.
All good, man. All good. Howdy, man. Yeah, let us know your thoughts, man.
I'm happy with the result. Not the one that we wanted. I mean, if it's any other game other than the situation we're in, we're happy with it. But I mean,
yeah,
it's a 1-1 draw. It's pretty meh. Pretty boring game. Didn't look like we were gonna lose, to be honest, but we stuck it out 1-1. But
yeah,
I mean, it's just a meh.
Right. What do you make of our away form, where we really have played better than we've really had in like 3 years, but obviously, still not good enough. But what do you pinpoint as maybe the difference in at least that?
I think mostly it comes down to just conceding that we don't have to win away from home, and that keeps us in games longer. I think that's a big thing. I think possibly that we are looked at as not so much a strong side, and the teams want to play against us whenever we come away. I think that they don't think of us as much of a challenge as they had in past years, so it kind of is a different game for them coming in, and they just don't take us as seriously. I think that's a big factor. I think those main two things. I think it depends on game to game. If you look at it, certain games, some teams still just hand us the ball and we haven't done well, and then some teams hand us the ball and we have done well. It's more so the teams that don't hand us the ball, then we're able to counter them. That's where we really see that we do well. But I think it's a mixture of those two things, just kind of coming together and being a recipe that's gotten us some points away from home.
Yeah.
So it's my
and maybe it's also this, where I think we're a little bit more of an instinctual team, and if we have to think, it usually doesn't end in a goal. It usually doesn't end well. It's when we're given too much space, when we're given too much time, especially if a team has sat in a low block, we don't have the ideas to break down a deep lying team. But I think we see that in some chaos moments that's really where we thrive. We thrive in space. We thrive in. I mean, I think this is something that we need to do more often. But the pullback or the cross from the byline, it's just really, really difficult to defend those because most teams are going to ball watch, and when the team that you're playing, they don't know where the rest of your players are. That's how, I think our best goals happen. But in terms of our setup tonight, like, do you feel like we set up well enough to combat that diamond midfield?
Did we set up well? Probably not. It's kind of. I think we tried to do it not necessarily the most like. It's hard. It's a hard thing to ask because we went in. I think we played a different team than I thought we were gonna play. If I'm being honest, I thought we were gonna go more of like a 5 at the back and try and really just sit in and then counter completely. We played it differently, although I think that was really the decision behind that really came because we were bad in a 5-back at Red Bulls. We weren't very good. We created nothing. Also with TRA not being there, I think that really hurt us. So we didn't want to do that either. But I think we did all right at it. It was kind of we pushed them out more so wide, and I thought their most dangerous is really whenever Kai Wagner is putting in good balls, and I thought that was kind of. You saw. I don't remember who the cross came from that where it laid it back. I think it might have been.
It was Wagner.
It was one of the. It was yeah. It was so. That's really where they're dangerous at, and I think. One thing is we have. Just put it this. I think we did an okay job at it, and I think the way that we set up overall was fine. And with our personnel, I don't think there was much you could do differently. Personally, yeah. I don't think there was that much that could have been done.
Yeah, with who's healthy, with who's on song, which there aren't many, unfortunately. But it pretty much is. We're relying on Saba or Moranchuk to score, and I think it's these extra percentages that we're just not getting from most of the rest of the team in terms of attack wise, because I think I'm of the I guess ilk that you don't need a just out and out scorer. I mean, yes, it was fantastic having Jose Martinez being the spearhead for so many years, but still, it was our best teams, and I think the best teams around the world are when they share the glut of goals. Not everyone is going to have, an Erling Haaland or a Kylian Mbappe to, finish off their chances. I think I think something that you can really invest in is good coaching, and it's relatively cheaper than trying to go for just the absolute top players, especially if you don't have it. And I guess in this, it's like in this Atlanta squad, I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna give you a very hard question. I'm gonna put you on the spot, man.
Okay, let's see.
So,
let's see if I can answer this.
3 players to keep for next season, 3 players to absolutely they need to be off the team.
Okay, just that.
3 players.
Let's say 3 players. Okay, if I have a plethora and I can, Moranchuk I think has to say. I think that's pretty evident. Honestly, I'm perfectly fine with Guzan. I think that one's area that I just don't want to test. This is my personal opinion on like the voluntary Guzan is. I would much rather if he continues to be the same and we see early enough in the like preseason and everything that he's similar and everything else. I don't want to have to try and shift and mess something up that's not broken right now. That's a big thing with me, and I think that's a big one. Pedro's look good. I think that's a player that could keep keep. That one I'm fine with. Brooks depends on. I mean, I find that you're probably not going to find much better in the MLS, but if you find an option, like I think Jones, the guy that went to Columbus, I thought he would be a good option for us. Outside of that, I mean, Shaq Moore maybe. That's more defensive though. Like it just depends on what the coach wants to do personally. If you want more defensive wingbacks, then probably get rid of Lennon. But my main three would be Moranchuk, Sleesh, and Guzan or Saba probably. Yeah. Sleesh, Moranchuk, Saba.
Yep.
There's kind of three other players in there that I'm like, we can keep, but if you have other options, then I would be fine letting y'all go.
Okay. I mean, I did say 3, and then you gave me like 6, but it's fair.
Yeah, I know.
It's tough. Like, I know. I put you on the spot.
Like I'm going through my thoughts. I'm saying my thoughts out loud.
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's it's stream of consciousness, and I totally appreciate it. I mean, it's a tough question. That's more for probably the end of the season, but it is obviously, it's just, I think like I said earlier, these players are playing for their jobs, and it very much is like, okay, who can help us next year? Who in our toughest moments right now can step up? Because that's who you find are the players that you want to keep. Because everyone can be great when it's a winning team, and everyone seems great in a winning team. Everyone's lovable, but yes, in these really tough moments, that's when you find out the true colors. But did you have some thoughts that you wanted to kind of highlight from this match?
Going kind of bouncing off what you just said there, kind of a guy that I think throughout the whole entire thing has consistently put in a shift and looked like he's actually trying every single second is Saba. I think Pedro, since he came in, he's looked like he's been fighting every second. Saba throughout the whole entire thing, he's been fighting. Wolf tonight, I don't understand what is going on with him. Sometimes it just doesn't look like he's trying, and a guy that's barely even in the team, I don't know what that is, but it's besides the point. I think looking at today's game, I thought our whole entire defensive line, basically, we see guys that are putting in, like, they're fighting and continuously, and it's kind of disappointing to see that you have like kind of two guys up front that aren't, and it's sad to see. But other than that, I mean, who would you say that, like, if you have 3 guys that you're just like, hold these, who would you say that you want to throw it back at you?
I welcome it. I mean, I think it's obviously, I would have even given the caveat that, okay, not Moranchuk, because he just came in. We're not going to get rid of him, so it is that. He isn't, of course. But, Saba, yes, there's absolutely, a lot of fight there. I think in a better team, he would probably thrive to give us even more stats. So, yes, Saba should, but I think there's a possibility that we can find better than him, too. But, but I think in this team, of the ones, Saba, I think from a work rate standpoint, from a talent standpoint, I mean, it's just, it's got to be him. I think Stian Gregerson, I think in the back line, from his age, from his just, his ability, not only on the ball, but, which I think there are some things that he could be better at, but I think aerially, just his pace, his ability to be our safety valve, he's probably that other player that I would absolutely keep. The rest of the players, unfortunately, I feel like we can find better. I would keep some other players, but I think those are the players that, if you're starting a team with the players that we have in the squad, I think those are the ones. I see your point about Goose. It's definitely, it makes sense to me too. But, I think there's so many players on this team that we can find better. We should, and because but you can't wholesale move the entire team. That's just, we've seen that. It's not effective. I think we don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but there definitely are players we can improve on. But yeah. Alan Salazar says the only thing we've been consistent is in tying. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many draws we have, but we draw a lot. Yeah. And probably...
we have 10 draws.
Double-digit draws. We draw basically more than a third of our games. That's...
Yeah, we've drawn more than we have won this year. And we've lost more than everything.
Yep.
So.
It's, Great. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have looked at the when draw and losses columns, but yeah, at the very least, like I mentioned at the top of your fan cam, is that we at least look better on the road. Unfortunately, I think the problem is how many people are watching us play on the road. I think there's too many people that have been scarred, and I think the next coach, this is where the importance on building and rebuilding that connection between the club and the fans, vitally important. Because on these away matches, if you can't get people to buy in, and get people to the casual fans to watch away matches, well then, you're doing it wrong. And I think that's something that they really crucially need to work on. Because, it's just like, we're not exciting enough on the road. So I understand why people have tuned out.
Yeah.
But all of us in the shit together here, we know, like, we were there when, and like, no one can say anything to us about those things. That's any sort of fair weather stuff, nah fam. But yeah, final thoughts, Connor.
Let's see. If we Wednesday 6-point game, just like today. So it's gonna be a fun game. My only thing that has me hope is Philly has the toughest run. Probably, I think, out of anyone to finish off the year. We don't have an easy run, but they have a hard run. And if we can, I honestly, I think if we can get a win out of Montreal and then a draw out of either of the next two games, I'm confident. My only worry is with the two teams, they have a hard run, but they have teams that are already in the playoffs and probably going to be possibly resting people, making sure people are fit going into playoffs. That's the only thing that concerns me there. Is like, how challenging are they just going to play for like draws? Are they going to play their full team? I don't know how they're going to do, because that's the only thing that worries me going in.
Well, decision day is against Orlando City. And so, it's not really been a strong rivalry as of late, but I think you can bet that at the very least, some Orlando fans will be clamoring for Orlando to be playing for, everything. And, if they can play spoiler, if we can play spoiler, obviously, it all will be gravy. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Orlando will rest, but they are a team that's in good form. So either way, yeah, that really does make decision day really, really interesting. So yeah,
it's gonna be. I think Wednesday is the day that kind of is like Wednesday's the day that Georgia's they're within 5.
Nope.
Okay. Oh, okay. There might maybe we'll see 2 Georgia teams take the one tonight.
Possibly.
We'll see. But
Yeah, I think the Braves won.
The
Yeah.
Braves. I've been like on. Yeah, I've been watching like 3 different games so far today, but it's been enough.
Exactly. Yeah.
But let's getting back to Wednesday. I think Wednesday is the day where it could be. It's kind of like bringing it back to the Braves. Like this series for them Wednesday is going to be if we're going to do anything, Wednesday will be the day that we'll know. Because if Philly loses and we get the win, we right the ship, and it's kind of, I think that's where momentum comes from, is that kind of thing. And I think if that happens, then I think we have a good chance. But if we win and then Philly wins, or if we both lose, I think we lose all momentum and it's just gonna sink. But
yeah.
And if we do lose Wednesday, I think we need to start changing things. Let's see some new people coming in. I think Edwards start playing. Lennon maybe take a break. Let's see what the other people in this team that aren't playing every week, because the people right now aren't winning. So why don't we see what they can do going into next season?
Mm-hmm.
But
interesting.
Smart.
Interesting. But I think at the very least, this is what needs to happen, is that Atlanta United fans do need to show up on Wednesday. It really is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This game is the true 6-pointer, because if CF Montreal are able to get a result, it buries us. It absolutely buries us. And yeah, it's just too far off. We're relying on everything else. And yeah, so it's, we've seen what happens when there is energy in the stadium, and we're able to. Yeah.
I didn't realize we're like right on Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we get 3 points Wednesday, we're right, and because I did not realize how bad their goal difference is.
Yes, exactly.
They're the win-loss machine. They are not the draw machine.
Yep.
So,
and it's that too. It's like I think if there's a team that's fool's gold, it's them. That's for sure. But it's because they can be had home or away. It's just a matter of kind of.
They're very they're kind of like they're very like star reliant. Not like every team is, but like they are like you see their I think most of their wins, you look at them and I think they are. Insigne and Bernardeschi were, if not scoring, they were involved somehow in that play, which I mean most teams are, but without them they look bad, and it's
and we can't let Derek Etienne Jr. get one over us either. So, he.
Bad deal.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Bad deal.
Anyway, but
I had that out of my memory.
I know, but.
Had that in the closet.
But you brought up Toronto, and so it's we're just feeding each other.
Every good thing must come back. Yeah.
But Connor, always a pleasure, man, and have a great rest of the night.
See ya Wednesday.
Indeed. All right, have a good one. Okay, so I think it's a good time to wrap it up here. Definitely, we want to really have and give the best wishes to Darren Eales and his family. I don't know if everyone probably has heard by now, but he has been diagnosed with a blood cancer, and however way you feel about Darren Eales in the latter part of his tenure, Darren Eales absolutely is one of the architects of Atlanta United as we know it, and the team we love. Yeah, we should absolutely throw our support and well wishes, prayers, if you do that type of thing, everything to well wishing and hoping that Darren Eales and his family can just have a miracle, something good happen out of this, and hopefully he can fight it, beat it, but yeah, definitely. Even in my toughest times, he came in and supported, and It was unexpected, and absolutely, it is. You know, he's been a class act, and yeah, hopefully, you know, with him stepping down as the Newcastle United CEO, that he can, you know, fully recover, and hopefully it's something that he's able to combat. But yeah, on that note, guys, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I've been AJ. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Good night, everybody.